guys, today we're here to chat tools. We're going to be talking about some of my favorite makeup brushes. These are brushes that if you took them out of my collection, I would feel like a lost little puppy and have no idea what to do. I've done a video previously on my favorite e.l.f. brushes because they make some of my favorite. I will link to that down below. And there's other brushes that I use that I really like, but these are just a few absolute staples. So let's get started. Kicking it off with a few brushes from e.l.f. These are absolutely amazing. They're like $6 each. The first is the e.l.f. powder brush, and I love this because, first of all, it was like one of my first brushes ever. This is probably my third one now, but I really love this for powder foundation. I love it to set my face, and you can even use this for liquid foundation. It does get a little bit bogged down, but it's quite dense, has a really nice flat top, and it just is so good at buffing things into the skin. You can even, it's quite multi-purpose, you could even like highlight with it, you could contour with it, depending on how you want to use it. It is really versatile. And then from them, I also love, this is their ultimate blending brush, and if you prefer something like the Sigma F80, this is like slightly more or less dense than that with a little bit of a rounded top. But if you like to really build up coverage of your foundations, blend things in flawlessly, this is absolutely amazing. If you're in the market for more of a fluffy powder brush, I really like this one from Flower Beauty. And what I like about it is it's not too fluffy. No matter the foundation I'm wearing, even if it's full coverage, I still need to powder my face because I'm oily and I want it to be able to like pick up some powder, but not to the point where it's like the e.l.f. powder brush where it's so dense. So I feel like this just has a really nice balance of fluffy and denseness. It's a good size. Some powder brushes are just gigantic, and I know there's like, it can feel really good, but I also just, I don't know, I really like the size of this one. I think it's like $13, and Flower Beauty is available at Walmart and I think online. Real Techniques makes some absolutely amazing brushes. I love their sponge, and I always recommend it to people when they're looking for brush options because they're affordable, they're amazing quality, and they have a really good range of products from them. I really love the buffing brush. I'm waiting for this to come out individually because it comes in their core face kit, I think, but similar to the e.l.f. powder brush, I love how this works with powder foundations, and I love how it works with liquid foundations. It's a little bit less dense than those other brushes, but I just think it does such a good job. Even if you want to blend in like cream highlight, cream blush, it's beautiful, and this is probably like the first brush I ever fell in love with next to the e.l.f. powder one. And then as a part of the Real Techniques Bold Metals line, not only is it freaking gorgeous, this is the blush brush, but what I love this for is for setting my under eyes. It kind of comes to a point and it is a little bit tapered, and it just fits under the under eyes so beautifully, and it's beautiful. Something that is a really similar shape to the Real Techniques Bold Metal Brush. I feel like they've changed it a little bit because I had one that I really loved, and then I repurchased it and it seems a little bit different, so let me know if you've had that experience. But this is the e.l.f. blush brush. Either way, I still do really like it. It's just not as good as I remember. But again, great for setting the under eyes, but what I also love this for is contour. It just does such a good job because it comes to that tapered point. It has a little bit of fluffiness, so it kind of blends it out, and it is also good for blush, good for a highlight, but it's just kind of, I think when I first purchased this, and then I think I purchased like 2 more after because I was using it for like blush, contour, and to set my under eyes, and those are 3 products that you do not want to get messed up on your brush, but it is so nice. One last foundation brush that I want to mention is actually a part of a set. I did a full review on this set about 2 years ago maybe, so I'll link to that down below, but it's from eBay. It costs like $20, and I still have brushes from that I really love, but this is my favorite. It is the Jessup Duo Fiber Powder Blush Brush, and it's just really unique. It's got a really great size. I love the way that it blends foundations in. It doesn't give a super heavy coverage, so I reach for it if I want a foundation that to act a little bit more lightweight, or if I just want more lightweight coverage. And it is also really good for cream blushes, cream contour, blending it out. It's the kind of brush that I would like to have 2 of, and I do love that entire set, but also standouts to me from that set are the large fluff brush. I really like this if I want to concentrate a little bit of highlight right here on the tip of my nose, that kind of thing. And then also from the line, I love these small tapered blending. I don't have hooded eyes, but when I open my eyes, you definitely cannot see as much of what I'm working with, so it's really good for getting in in the crease and also kind of smoking things out on my lower lash line. But overall, I do really recommend the entire set, and I will link to it down below. Moving on to bronzing and contouring, I have a few brushes that I want to mention. The first is this brush here from Sigma, and I've had this for so long. It is the Large Angled Contour F40, and I really love this. It's the kind of thing that I always travel with. I always use it. It is a little bit fluffy, so I have another kind of denser brush if I want to use something like the Makeup Forever Pro Fusion that's really jam-packed in there. But this just does such a good job. It's a great size to get all over the whole face, and I've had it for years, probably 4 years, and it's still holding strong. When I have really, really powdery bronzers, I love to use this guy from Benefit, and again, it's super adorable. It's part of their Hula line, and this does a really good job as well for blushes when they're super, super pigmented, because it is so fluffy, but it does have enough denseness that it's able to pick up product. It just kind of depends on, again, the pressure that you're putting in the product, but it does a really good job for blush, for bronzer, blending things out, and it's so cute. And then the last contour brush I want to mention is this snazzy, expensive guy. I love this. I know I spent $50 on a brush, but to me, it is essential in my collection, and as someone who was born without cheekbones, this is a lot cheaper than like getting my face tucked and needled and prodded and filled and whatever else it might be. I'll spend 50 bucks on a brush. I know that there are dupes out there now, but I'm very glad to have this brush. Again, I've had it for years and it's lasted really nicely. If you do purchase it, it does shed for the first few uses, but it stops shedding, and I use this all the time if I'm going out, if I'm having a regular day. It doesn't really matter if I'm reaching for something for contour. I love to use this with powders. It just is beautiful. It's the perfect size. It is so well done and worth the price, unfortunately. I only have one blush brush that I truly love, and it is from Target, RIP Target Canada. I know I say it every time, but I will never get over Target leaving Canada, and I love this. It's just the perfect size. I really haven't found another blush brush that I really love for blush only. I mentioned those other two brushes, but what I really like them for is setting my under eye. I find a lot of blush brushes, it's hard to say, are just too dense, and this is just the perfect size. It is not too dense. It has enough fluffiness, but it's also not too big that it's going to cover your whole cheek, and it's also not too dense that if you're using a really, really intense blush that you're going to end up looking like a clown. Also super affordable. I think this was under $10. We can thank Emily Noel for spreading the word about the small stipple brush. I feel like she increased their sales by 500%. It is never something that I would have really picked up on my own. I don't use a ton of cream blushes, but when I do, I love using this. It's also really good for cream highlight, cream contour, because it's just so small. There's not a lot of other small stipple brushes out there like it, I think, especially at this price point, and it's great. It does a really good job. It's super unique and incredibly affordable. Moving back to another Real Techniques brush, this is their setting brush, and when I first purchased it, I used it exclusively for setting my under eye, and I like it for that. I also like it for highlighting because it comes to a point and it does a really good job, but what I love it for, and I've recently been using it as, is blending out my concealer under my eyes. Because it has fluffiness and it's not super dense, it just diffuses beautifully. I absolutely love using this with the Tarte Shape Tape. So I'll dot it under my eyes, kind of spread it out with my fingers, and then to kind of blend it and mesh it into my skin, because my concealer is generally a little bit lighter than my face makeup. This just does such a beautiful job making it all become one, and I've been obsessed with using it. Another concealer brush that I do really like as well is from e.l.f. This is the Flawless Concealer Brush. This does a similar job, but it does have a little bit more denseness to it, but I still really like it for blending out my concealer, and even using it if I really want to get intense with like a liquid highlight, I'll kind of go down my cheeks with this too. Another one of my favorite highlight brushes is from Morphe, and I use this so much I can't even tell you what it is. It's an R something. I will link to it down below, but this just does a beautiful job at picking up highlight. I think it works with basically all of the highlighters that I have, even the more dense ones. It does a good job getting in there, picking up the product, and just really distributing it beautifully on the cheeks. I can use it down my nose, and I picked this up at IMAX last year, so IMAX will be coming up again in August here in Toronto, so I'm excited to go back to the Morphe booth and explore some more of their brushes because I've really been liking this one. I have another double duty brush here. I feel like a lot of the brushes that I really love do a few things, and I need to pick up more because I shouldn't be mixing them. It's a dangerous game. But from Inglot, this is the 6SS, and I love this for nose contour. I know that that's kind of like weird and specific, but just the size of it is perfect, because sometimes I can go a little bit too ham on the nose contour and you're like, just stripes down the face. This blends out beautifully, but I also love it for super fluffy in the crease, and I also love it for a concentrated highlight. So again, very dangerous things to mix the highlight and the contour, but be sure to look at makeup brushes as more than what they are. Just because they say one thing, it really doesn't matter. Same as makeup products, whatever it might be. But something like this is marketed as an eyeshadow brush, but what it really acts the best for me is as a nose contour. So it kind of just depends. I mean, I don't do a ton of nose contouring, but when I do, I always reach for this. I'm almost embarrassed to show you these brushes. Like, all of these brushes are very well loved, and some of them I've had for years, so they're not going to be super cute and sparkly and YouTube ready, but these are from Wet n Wild, and I really love these brushes. I know that they're hard to get your hands on, but if you see them, buy them. They are cruelty-free, incredibly affordable, and really great quality. I especially love the eye brushes over the face brush in these collections, but I have kind of like the flat shader brush, which is, you know, does exactly what a flat shader should, and a fluffy kind of blending brush, and these are really good. The face brushes for me aren't as much of a win, but I definitely love the eye brushes. I have some more Up and Up brushes. These come in a set of 2, I believe, is how I purchased it. And again, these are just shader brushes. One's a little bit bigger, one's a little bit smaller and more dense. They do a good job packing on shadow, blending under the eyes. There's not that much I can say about them, but they are really affordable and really good. Lastly, I have 3 eyebrow brushes at vastly different price points. The first is from e.l.f., incredibly affordable. This is a spoolie, and I recommend everybody has one of these, because if you're traveling with a pomade or something that doesn't have a built-in spoolie, this is just so good to have. It costs $1. Then from Real Techniques, this is a part of one of their eye sets, but it is their brow brush, and I love this for brow pomades. If you have really thin brows and you're looking to like create hairs, this might not be the best option for you, but if you do have thicker brows and you're looking to lay down some product, fill in a few things, maybe create an arch or something like that, this just does a really good job. It's a little bit thicker than the majority of the brow brushes I own, and a little bit fluffier in terms of an angled brush, but it just is really interesting and unique. And lastly, from the Brow Gods Anastasia, this is the number 12 brush. It's a duo-sided brush, so you get an angled brush on one side, a spoolie on the other. I'm sure there's other double-sided brushes out there. I think I even have one from e.l.f., or I did, I think I lost it, that are good, but I do really like this, and if we are talking my makeup staples, this is absolutely one of them. Almost dropped it. So there you have it. Those are some of my brush essentials. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below what you have in your collection, what you need to do your makeup, what you cannot make up without. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!